All right, so get this. I had an idea. Don't look so excited.
I mean, it's your idea. What do you want me to do?
No, I think you'll be on board with this one. I'm going to try and get through this whole episode, and I hope this starts a trend where I'm going to be PG. No more bad words, no more jokes about bodily parts and stuff like that. You think I can pull it off?
Well, yeah, but it's just going to mean twice as much editing.
You think so?
Good point. 3 times as much editing.
I mean, you're the one's been on me about making sure we could get on like Nate's podcast.
I think that there is probably some sort of happy place in between half of the shit I hear you say and what would get us nationally recognized as a podcast.
Uh-huh.
But I mean, I'm willing to be witness to this experiment.
All right. I mean, sometimes you say the bad stuff.
I more let bad words slip than anything else.
Or is it just because I don't edit yours out and I leave it in?
That's probably what it has to do with it.
Anything interesting happened since the last time we recorded?
Well, I officially have like 2-ish weeks left at the current location of my job.
Mm-hmm.
We'll be opening a new location soon, and I'll be taking that over. So that's exciting and new.
He works at Chuck E. Cheese.
Mm-hmm. It takes a lot of money to get the animatronics in, and so they had to wait until the loan cleared.
He's the drummer in the band at the animatronic, the one that's always like leaning over and stuff.
People are like, you act kind of like a robot. Act like. So that's new and exciting. What else?
We got back from Orlando.
Both living.
Yeah, you want to tell everybody what happened to you on the plane? Or maybe both planes, or the way there and the way back, because that was kind of an adventure for you.
Sure. So on the way there, the adventure was I got to sit by myself the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
Just have all the room that I need. Well, that's not true. On one of the legs, there was a guy in my row, but he was in the window and I was in the aisle. So we both had plenty of space.
I guess I should set this up. I ordered the tickets and I asked him beforehand, do you prefer you on window, aisle? What he was like, I don't care. So I just went, let's do both aisles. So we don't have to be getting up to go get out of our seats. We have to use the restroom. Just keep it easy and we can be really cool and high five each other across the aisleway and all that.
Which joke's on him. I don't use the restroom on planes.
Same here. I just didn't know. It's the first time we traveled together. So,
anyways, so we're across the aisle from each other, and I had plenty of space in both the flights on the way there. And Dan had whoever the biggest person on the flight was next to him on both flights.
The first flight was there's bigger people, but he overfilled the seat next to me. He was a nice guy. And then an even bigger guy in a suit came by and he sat at the other end. So he pushed whatever little bit of the middle guy, a good half a foot into my seat. And then he had to lean over to just avoid each other. And then, which had me basically hanging out in the aisle the whole way up there. And I just magically turned and look at my co-host and he has nobody next to him.
Plenty of leg room, was able to stretch out. It was nice.
And if that wasn't the worst part, we had a layover in Houston. Got on a little smaller plane, and wouldn't you know, the plane is completely sold out. Everybody is freaking out. We had to check our bags last minute, and it's just filled up. We're watching it fill up, and then we're watching his seats. Nobody's taking his seats again. He's like the only one on the plane with nobody next to him until finally this one little guy shows up.
Tiniest guy on the plane.
And they were like best friends. He walked in. They're like, "Hey, how you doing?" And his was actually the window seat, so you guys actually had the space.
Yeah, but then that dickhead. So
I'm gonna have to cut that.
Why? Dickhead's fine. Is dickhead really not PG? Unless you're picturing a person with a penis for a head, it's not
Richard Head.
Yes, Richard Head.
I'm gonna have to cut all that in with that dog's barking in the background. All right.
So we had the seat between us empty.
Mm.
And so before we got on the flight, I was like, oh, is it cool if like I move my bag over to this so I have a little leg room? He's like, yeah, not a problem. And then he threw all of his stuff under that chair. So then there wasn't room for my bag. So then I still had to keep my bag under my seat.
But there's this thing called karma. And I think you experienced it on the way home.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit. I had full rows. And on one of the flights, I mean, I definitely sat next to like just horrible people.
Oh, that was the one with the guy. You were like, I thought you were going to end up in a fight with that guy. He instantly was. Think about the worst kind of people you want to fly with or you hate to fly with. And that was him. Because this guy was in your seat, right?
Yeah, he was in my seat when I got there, and I was like, and he was like, just kept talking. He didn't even bother to look up at me, and I was like, "Excuse me," and he was like, "Yeah," and I was like, "That's my seat. Can you move over?"
Yeah.
And so I sit down and basically tried to ignore him the whole rest of the flight, which I did a pretty decent job of, in part because I tried to fall asleep, but in part just because he had no human value. But
well, his response to you, he was like, okay, I got to get, but I guess I'm going to freeze on this plane now or something like that. It was something with the air vents being cold or something. It was
maybe I didn't even pay attention to that part. I was still so mad.
Because that's when you saw red and you looked at me and you're like, this is going to be a fun flight. You said it loud enough for everybody to hear. That was pretty funny.
And then, but as we're getting close to landing, and when I say close to landing, like we are in the exact spot of the flight where they emphatically do not want you to use the cellular service on your phone.
Oh, yeah.
And he flipped cell on so that he could get in touch with people. Now, mind you, we're going into Denver and he still has to get on another plane to go backwards to like Omaha or something like that. But it's like, bro, we are like 15 minutes from landing. This can't wait 15 minutes because I promise you, as soon as tires hit the tarmac, my phone goes into cell mode. Like we've landed.
Yeah.
There's nothing I can do now that's going to ruin this plane.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go back into cell service so that I can text people or get anything that I missed on the flight.
Yeah.
Like you had 10, maybe 15 minutes to wait for that. And you turned it on. Now, granted, at this point, it's 2025. That's probably not a thing anymore. They've probably figured out the science behind it, but they still say it.
Yeah.
When they're telling you what you can and can't use during the flight.
We're like two different flyers because I agree with that one, but I don't take it too seriously. But I'm also like, you're always like, don't put that out there. Don't put that kind of mojo out in the world. And I'm the guy that's like, is that a monster on the wing? And you're the opposite of that.
Yeah.
That's because you haven't even explained the bad part of the very last flight.
Oh, yeah. So the very last flight, where we get on, and at the time there was a guy in the window seat in my row and then me on the aisle, and there was nobody in between us. Well, the guy in between us finally shows up, but he like stood on top of me without really letting me get out of my chair.
Forgot about that.
While also telling me that he needed me to get out of my chair so that he could sit in his seat. And so I had very little room to stand up and maneuver around him to give him the space to go.
Because people were piling in at this time too.
Yeah. And they were all on top of him like we were going to somehow take off quicker. And so I stood up, and when I stood up, my knee popped, but my knee popped at a level that was audible to my ear from like 3.5 feet away. I was like, oh God. And then from that point forward, I basically could not flex my leg the rest of the flight. When we landed here in Phoenix and got off the flight, it looked like I don't know, like I had a rod put in my leg and I was just dragging it along for the ride. We had to stop like 3 times on the way out to the car because I couldn't, like it made it almost hurt to breathe. Like my knee hurt so much.
Well, and I tried to be like, let's lighten the mood a little bit as we landed. I was like, jokingly, you want me to go get you a wheelchair? And his face was dead serious. And he's like, you just might have to. And I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun trip down to get picked up. What did we fly? United?
Yes.
Thank you, United.
We flew United, who merged with Continental and stole Continental's logo instead of keeping the United logo. Go figure.
Welcome to the podcast, United. Or Continental.
TWA.
Or Days Inn, or whoever it was.
Whatever. Pan Am. I don't know.
All right. Welcome to the show, everybody.
What show? Oh.
Hopefully, the newest addition to Nate Bargatty's Nateland podcast.
Man, if we say it often enough, only 2 things can happen. We either get on the podcast or he dies because we've said his name too many times.
Score.
Fingers crossed.
Okay. I got our word for the week.
Oh, good. I thought I was going to have to wait long.
I'm gonna feed it to you like a math problem.
Okay, I'm good at math, and I don't know that you are. So let's see how this plays out.
This one is like picture math. Picture of your dog.
Okay.
A picture of a stick.
Mm-hmm.
And you put a plus sign in the middle. What do you get?
Dog stick.
That's Keanu Reeves' band, right? Dog Stick?
I think so.
Yeah, pretty good. It's Dog Star.
So it's not dog stick.
If you add those two together and it's not a dog stick.
Dog wood.
Pretty close. You can't get there?
Nope.
All right. What does a dog do with a stick?
Fetch.
Thank you. There's your word.
Fetch?
Yeah.
Not fletch.
No. We can talk about Fletch.
Okay.
But like, I want you to Gretchen Wiener this, man.
Excuse me?
I've always called you a mean girl.
Oh. Wait. Was Fetch Mean Girls?
Yeah.
Oh.
I feel like she deserved better.
It was Mean Girls? It wasn't Clueless?
No.
All
It's
right.
Gretchen Wieners.
I mean,
like you forgot, like anybody forgets the name Gretchen Wieners.
no,
And I'm borderline here. I can't go any more dark than
I'm
that.
not saying that she didn't say it. I'm just saying, wasn't it originally in Clueless?
No, it's from Mean Girls.
Is that because that's what you're reading on your phone?
Yeah, the internet never lies.
Doesn't it?
Not the internet we use.
Now it does. You've seen all the truths taken off the internet.
Come on, don't take this away from Tina Fey. This is her thing, dude.
Okay, fine. Maybe Tina Fey really liked Clueless. Whatever. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, she would have wrote the line, right? She wrote that movie.
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, I'm sure there were other writers involved.
All right. So what do you got for Fetch?
I don't know. You brought it to me.
Mm-hmm.
So from what I understand from the movie, and this is remembering back a long way because
he's remembering the wrong movie.
No,
he's remembering Fletch. It starred Chevy Chase.
Yeah,
but
Fletch Lives was better.
Was he a PI or was he a reporter?
Good question. I think he was a PI. He's a Laker fan. I know that.
Yeah, he's like a fan.
Better yet, let's just not talk about Fletch.
Flesh?
No, Fletch.
Oh, okay.
So Fetch from Mean Girls.
Mm-hmm.
If I remember it at all, which I don't watch it weekly, like I'm sure plenty of girls that still do. Anyways, if I remember right, it was something that was totally good.
It's supposed to be cool or awesome. Yeah, good.
Like, I feel that it was probably meant to be like a shortened version of fetching.
Yeah. But in the movie, she
generally means like handsome or beautiful or something like that. But
she couldn't get to the stick and everybody kept giving her crap about it.
Right.
Or poop about it. Is crap too edgy?
I don't know. I'm not trying to buy our
kept
podcast.
Giving her number 2 about it.
That's worse. That could be a pencil.
I would have took a pencil. I mean, that sounded wrong. Sorry. Yeah. Does anybody my age that used to go to school when they were like in grade school, and if you did well, the teacher would literally give you a pencil at the end of the day?
Yes, I'm old enough to do.
Okay, so that's what that joke was supposed to be. Because like if you ended your day with like a scratch and sniff pencil, or like one of the DC superheroes, it was a good day. It was a good day, dog.
Did you have the hand crank pencil sharpeners, or were they electric with it? Or did you have both throughout your school career?
Nope, they never went electric. It was always the hand crank.
Yeah, I kind of figured Kingman was probably just coming onto the electric grid at that point.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I prefer the hand crank one.
I do too.
And
that's not just with pencils. I don't know if you've ever seen. So like, have you seen?
It's satisfying, dude.
You've seen an electric meat slicer where you put the meat on. And
I've never tried it though.
They're pretty cool.
Same thing.
But hand crank ones, oh my God. Oh my God.
Have you ever made the pasta?
Yes. I've made the pasta that way.
Okay.
What else have I done that way? Yeah, that's probably it. But yeah, there's something.
The old me would have took that somewhere.
There's something horribly satisfying. Yeah, the old you. There's something horribly satisfying about, like, I don't know, moving a crank in a circular fashion to produce something.
So my love for those old school pencil sharpeners was twofold. First off, it just killed time. So like you could get up in class and just take as long as you need to. And it, even if you sharpened it in the first crank and a half, you'd sit there until that pencil got so small.
So the Messersmith love for school started earlier than the current generation. Huh?
Yeah. So I'd love that. And being a artsy fartsy guy, can I say fartsy?
Here's the thing. If you're going to make this change, I can't have you ask me the question every time you say a word.
Okay. I was an artsy fartsy kid, so I loved art, and I was really good with pencil art.
You can't say fartsy on the air.
There's nobody listening anyways. I can't even do the quote right if I'm going to be clean.
So great.
That stinks. That stinks.
It stinks.
Oh my God.
That's my best Jay Sherman.
Yeah. But am I weird that I like the smell of the pencil shavings? And I still do to this day.
Here's the thing. I'm going to separate that. Okay. Yes, you're weird. Does the smell of pencil shavings get you a little rock hard? Yeah, kind of. It's pretty great. I don't know why.
And I've brought this up with people before, and they're like, "You're weird."
I think it's a mix of pencil shaving and the lead that comes off with it. I don't know what it is, but something good about it.
Love that smell. So yeah, it's twofold.
As long as you didn't stand in front of class doing it and go, "Oh yeah," then I think you're okay.
So if Gretchen Wieners in the movie would have sharpened a pencil and said, "This is so fetch."
I like how in your first foray in trying to have a clean episode, you picked a quote from a person whose last name was Wieners.
Wieners. But there's a lot worse words than wiener, and normally I would say it. So I'm embracing the wiener. You can quote me on that.
Can I put it on a t-shirt?
Embracing the wiener. That's the name of our first album.
Dan Messersmith, Embracing the Wiener.
That'll be when we do our live album, when we go on tour. So it'll be Hang Out with Your Slang Out.
We'll have to actually bring her with us on tour so that you have to give her a hug before each live show.
Embracing
the Wiener.
And she was played by the Party of Five girl. Lacey
Chabert.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess it's caught on some since the movie. So kudos to you, Gretchen. You finally got your wish.
Yeah. Because it's a huge joke throughout the movie. I've actually heard it being tried to be used before. It's not really, I haven't heard it lately. So I'm hoping we can bring it back.
Yeah, this is definitely one that I don't hate, which is weird.
What I do hate is
I don't know that
what is this? This isn't even a 90s movie. I thought it was a 90s movie.
No, it's like 2004, 2005.
Yeah, it's 2004,
yeah.
Which is technically 20 years ago.
Holy crud.
But it just doesn't feel like a flashback word.
So, okay. So would you use it now?
I kind of want to try.
Okay. What would you use it for?
When I throw the stick so my dog goes and gets it.
Okay. You're missing the point of this slang term.
No, I'd be like, that's so fetch. And he'll go get it like I'm saying, fetch, dog. Actually, it'd be like, fetch, Guillermo. If I'm talking to you, I'd be like, fetch, dog. Because you're my doggy.
Right? No, he's your doggy. I'm your dog. You don't call a person who's your dog your doggy.
Sure you do.
No, you don't.
My brother has a best friend. We call him Doggy to this day. Shout out to Doggy.
Well, is that his nickname though?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with being his dog. So what would you consider fetch?
The game when you throw a stick for the... All right, I know. Dude, you should... If only you guys could have seen his eyes rolling in the back of his head on that one. He does have a toothache, though, so it could just be pain.
No, that's actually subsided a little bit.
Because I'm taking the pain away. I'm directing the pain.
No, because you gave me knockoff Advil or something.
It was a leave.
Oh, God, the worst. That's fine. Yeah, so aside from dumb joke, what would you consider fetch?
I guess that's pretty easy, because if we're going to take it at... Like, it doesn't seem like it's changed since when they tried to implement it in the movie, which is just cool or something awesome.
I feel like in the movie they were trying to connect it or correlate it more with fashion than anything else.
Yeah, that exactly. And I think you're right when it's like an offset of fetching, which totally made sense.
Right. Because that would be something you would say if somebody was dressed really well.
Mm-hmm. Which you don't hear people use that word anymore either, is fetching.
No, I think that maybe should be the one we bring back.
Well, I'll try fetch. You try fetching. We'll see which one comes to who first, and then you win.
And I'll try fetcha, which I think is date in Spanish.
I thought that was a cheese.
No, that's feta.
Feta. That's feta with a speech impediment, which I will not do anymore.
Sure you won't. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
If I do it, I have to cut it out.
Nope.
I'm going cold turkey, dude. All right. Something I think is fetch. The podcast expo we just did, 2025. It was pretty fetch. Had its moments.
Okay.
I enjoyed that.
Way to kiss their butt.
Mm-hmm. And I bet you anything.
It was fun. I'm just saying.
The podcast movement, I bet you that is as fetch as it gets.
Maybe.
Hint, hint, Buzz Sprout.
If you're listening, we would also take passes to that.
Yes.
Yes, that was fetch. Anything else you got?
I can think of a couple, but lob me a couple. I know you got something there.
I was thinking of it from a fashion standpoint, and I know probably all teams do this, but I only follow really one hockey team.
Okay.
And so game days, especially home game days for the Sharks,
mm-hmm.
they have a hashtag. I think it's a hashtag that's Sharkly Dressed Men.
That's really clever.
But it's them walking into the arena pregame and whatever they're wearing, what suits,
mm-hmm.
and whatnot they're wearing as they walk into the building. And so that's fun. And those kids dress pretty well.
Yeah.
And it's because other sports, I'm not trying to hate on it. Yes, I am. I'm not trying to hate on other sports, but they dress in a way that's definitely fashionable in its own way, just not in a way that's like universally appealing.
NBA, he's looking at you.
No, I'm looking at NBA, NFL,
and NFL,
and probably MLB, honestly. Like,
I've never seen that. That's something I haven't seen yet.
MLB is kind of a 50-50 split. NBA and NFL used to be more of a 50-50 split.
Mm-hmm.
Now I just feel like, whatever the wackiest thing you can wear is, wear that.
We had something that was very fetched just recently happen.
Yeah, what's that?
That was last night when we went to your work and played, was it Name That Tune?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we had a good time. We won.
We had a good time. We won. Eventually the host, no, I guess he never really did get to the point of remembering our name, but that's okay.
Yeah, true.
Every time we go to these events, we make the team name our podcast name.
Mm-hmm.
It was Dan's idea. I don't think it's gotten us any additional listeners. It might this time. Jen actually got up and she was like passing stickers around.
Yeah, she was all excited about it.
She's super gung ho about that. Thank God for her.
But she was in the zone last night. My wife, she pretty much carried us. I guess both our wives did, because you're
at least through the first half, because there was a lot of funk being played and she was all over it. And then when it got to the bonus round thing, so the way it works is you go through a round where he goes literally team to team, shows you a video. You have to name the artist and the song.
Yeah.
If you miss either part, the next team has the opportunity to steal that part before it gets to them for their question. And you keep going until somebody steals that point. So somebody will get that point eventually. Anyways, then you go into, I think he calls it the lightning round. And the lightning round basically is they're going to start this video, and the first person to raise their hand, which is a horrible way of doing things because you can only see where you're looking. So you invariably miss people that are raising their hands. Now, credit to him. He did a good job of understanding that over the course of the lightning round, he changed where he was looking to start. So it kept everything kind of even around the room.
Yeah.
But definitely when his eyes hit our side, Candace was always the first one standing up with her hand in the air.
Yeah.
We knew it every time.
She got shorted about 3 or 4 questions there.
Yeah.
And then he finally looked at us, and she had like 2 or 3 in a row.
Yeah.
That like brought it home for us.
And then it got to the final round, and we made Dan go up there. And
who I hadn't done a thing that night. Like, I don't think I got one answer.
I don't know.
That, I did one. You guys made me say, what was it? Cameo's Word Up.
Yeah.
It's the only one I got, and I was waiting for one of you guys to say it.
Yeah, and I don't know that. Well, the only reason you did is because it's a teaser classic. But I don't think that I got anything. Like, there were times where I got to the answer at the same speed as Jen in that first section, but like she was out front and got her hand up and got to answer, and that's great.
Yeah,
like,
now that I think about it, you were in a little bit of a funk for that. You usually do a lot better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I knew almost everything. I just feel like I was a little slow on things. Anyways, irrelevant. There was one I answered.
Yeah,
you definitely held the microphone.
1 or 2, I
me.
thought.
Yeah. Anyways, so you get to the final round, and he says that he picks people from the top 5 teams. I don't know if there's any I don't know how they really keep score, to be perfectly honest. Anyway, so you get the 5 people up there. And at that point, it's sort of like a miniaturized lightning round.
Yeah.
He throws the videos up. They have to name artist and song while raising their hand.
At least he can see you then.
Yeah, because everybody's directly in front of him.
No help from the rest of the teams out in the back.
And Danny come lately over here. He motored through, I want to say like the first 4 before
I came out of the gate swinging.
Yeah, which is good because the later rounds, they were definitely hard charging on you.
This was just like one of those movies like,
when I thought you were going to take the tumble was right when they threw Bieber in. And all of a sudden you hit that to go to 5. And I was like, okay, I think we're good now.
What's crazy is my wife, we've been talking about this ever since we talked about it last night. We talked about it this morning. We talked about it before you came over. But the lightning round, I was up. I think it's like the first to 6 points or something wins it. So I was already at like 4. It was just over and over again. I started helping the lady next to me because she had 1. And then I got her to 2. And then the guy was like, hey, let's do old country. Like not just even new country, just let's go old school. And they did one newer one, which I know the artists. I don't know their songs because I haven't listened to them forever.
It was Morgan Wallen.
And then that lady just took off after I had helped her get her second point. And then she got right up to me to catch. And then I think another guy got a couple points.
And then she started doing like victory dances and stuff. I was like, whoa, lady, you didn't even earn 2 of your points.
Yeah, she had the crowd in her pocket too. And I was like, I literally just helped this lady. And she was really nice. But then they got off the country thing. They came right back with a song and a band and a video I knew from the opening, just as soon as you open your eyes and look at it, because I've seen the video about 400,000 times.
Mm-hmm.
And I froze. Like, not even froze. Like, I raised my hand because I was like, it's Linkin Park.
It was like watching what I can only imagine he would have looked like while playing for Deezer as soon as the house lights came on.
What I wish is I wish I could have seen you guys, because it went from immediately like, oh, we got this is done, to me not saying an answer, to hearing my co-host in the background going, oh God, no. It was the fun. And when you did that, gone. Anything on my brain was gone.
Perfect. So I ruined it for you.
Thankfully, nobody else knew it either. So that the song starts playing, I'm singing every word, not thinking about it, just singing along to it like I've always done 1,000 times. Still couldn't get to the title of the song in my head.
Chester Bennington is turning in his grave.
Oh, I know. He deserves better. And all I could think of is I'm in that horse race where like I'm at the end, I have it, and then I fall and like everybody else runs past you.
Mm-hmm.
If I have to walk back to our table, and I lost on the one I knew better than any other song that they just showed, I was like, I'll have to quit the podcast. So the round picked back up after that mental debacle, and I had nothing. And then the next video was a Justin Bieber boyfriend. And for some reason, I knew it within a half of a second. The song starts with a whistle.
On Name That Tune, he would have won $500,000.
Yeah, it was in. It's like I immediately knew it, and I think I shocked the crowd. Everybody was like, "How did he get that?" And
I said out loud, "You knew that one?"
Yep. And all I could do was I leaned over to, because the lady was like, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I have a 20-year-old daughter, so I know all the Justin Bieber songs." That was crazy. And then they just started feeding me stuff like Eminem and all that, and I finished it out. I was pretty proud of myself.
So winning was Fetch.
Yeah.
The event was Fetch.
So I'm going to try and use it. Are you going to try and use Fetch?
Yeah, I guess I'll try to use it. Although maybe I'll just dive all the way back to fetching. I don't know.
You try fetching, I'll try Fetch.
Okay.
Do you think we could fetch our way out of this podcast?
No.
We didn't even think of no band names in this episode or nothing.
Well, I mean, there was the one that was it's
going to be the name of our tour.
Yeah.
What was that? Rima Bear? What did I think of? Fetch the dog. Split the wiener.
Remember
the wieners?
No, it was
the hand gestures isn't helping me.
No,
it's like watching a Linkin Park video.
When you hug somebody, what's it called? Embrace the wieners.
Yes. I like how he's acting like he couldn't remember Embrace the Wiener.
I really could.
He's going to have shirts made by the end of this podcast.
I'm going to have to, otherwise I'm not going to remember it.
All right. Well, I'm forgetful. I'm Forget Me Not Stan.
Oh, I thought you were going to go. I thought you were going to go NC7. No, that's not you anymore. DG instead of PG because that's all I had to work with.
Dan's guidance.
Sure. I'm going to be
Torrential guidance.
I'm going to be M for mature.
Yes. Beard is definitely mature.
I had fun. We did very little talking about fetch.
I think that was on purpose.
As per usual. Here's your 30-minute slang podcast where 5 minutes is about the word that we're talking about.
They're just here to hear me say, this is hang out with your
Fetch
slang
lives.
out. Fetch lives. Fetching lives. Fletch lives. Fetching lives.
Wasn't there a third one? Fetch lives again.
It's fetch off or something like that.
Excuse me? I thought you were going clean.
You kiss your co-host podcaster with that mouth?
No.
Could you?
No.
Well, that's not fetch. That's foolish.
Foolin'.
All right, we got to get out of here. He's starting to sing Def Leppard, and there's no time for that.
There's never any time.
We can't pay them royalties. We're not making any money yet.
They're deaf. They'll never hear it.
And they're leopards.
Leopards don't even have iTunes.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
They're good with magic, though.
Don't forget, slangers, reach out to us. Let us know if you got any words. Let us know all the things you love and or hate, mostly love about the podcast. You can reach us at hangoutslangout@gmail.com.
And we're finishing up our second season here pretty soon. So we got lots of plans for season 3. Hopefully we can pull them off.
We do have a lot of plans. What I feel like we should also let them know is in this switch to video, which is part of the plans. Switcheroo is I think that we're going to probably put a sizable little gap in between the end of season 2 and the beginning of season 3 so we can really make sure it's good for everybody.
Stuff a couple wieners in there.
Oh, what? I thought we were going clean.
That is clean.
I don't think it's clean. Anyway, so we're going to take a little time. But what I think we're going to do also is do some re-releases of old episodes that everybody seems to have liked. And
we'll do some greatest hits.
Yeah. Maybe we'll even sift through some of the footage that hit the cutting room floor and throw that at you. Not all of it, and probably very little of it, because most of it,
there's a reason it's on the floor,
is not suitable for the podcast world. But
yeah,
but there might be something in there.
I should really burn that footage because one day we'll be dead and our kids will be listening and be like, "Look, we found the originals," and then they'll be like, "Oh,
it's fine. It'll be after the eulogy."
The podcast was a hate crime.
Oh yeah, it was.
Yeah. All right. Catch you later.
Later, slangers.
That's one of the things in baseball, and I don't know if I like yet. I don't think is all that fetch is it seems like some of those athletes are a little more worried about the diamonds around their neck than they are at
those diamonds are reckless than the diamond that they play on.
There you go. You got there for me. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
That the diamond that they play on. So I'm going to splice that right on in there.
Nice.
I don't know why I sounded so excited and angry at the same time.
Yeah, that sounded very violent.